Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here again to the DreamHack Pro Circuit live from Leipzig, Germany, where we have some amazing Rocket League action under the way. Already, we've seen a lot out of Group A and Group B. We've had upsets, we've had expected results. Things have kind of been all over the place here, Gibbs.
Yeah, so far, most of the teams have won that we expected. Rogue was the only one. And to me and you, it wasn't that big of a surprise after seeing what they showed in that first series, which we'll see Savage here in a little bit. Savage looked awful, so that's why Rogue probably got that win. But they are out, so there's a lot of question marks around that team. And same with Splice. Both those teams from North America not looking that strong going into the RLCS.
Definitely a rough start for both Splice and Rogue. But again, we saw the offseason results. It's like, all right, here's the time to do something about it. Unfortunately, couldn't do it. But I mean, Veloce, this is the first time we'll get to see them as well. A team that has historically, you know, been so good, and then just right at the end, just right off the cliff. So we'll see what they can do.
And before we go a little bit farther with that, we're just going to go ahead and bring up our schedule to see what you're talking about there, Achieves, and the fact that we do have ourselves coming up next, Veloce Esports up against Savage. You already kind of alluded to it a little bit there, Gibbs, that Savage did not have, you know, for lack of a better word, the quickest approach to game number one in their first series on the day.
Which was surprising because they had a lot of momentum coming in from the Renegade Cup. We thought they would be kind of just firing like on all cylinders. And the same with Veloce, where they qualified. They got the free trip out here. They had the 8th seed, and they lost their first round game. So both teams expected to do a little bit more, haven't really showed it yet.
But again, that's sometimes the nature of the beast, you know. It's the first time Alpha's been at a LAN, so he's been a little bit. Niels Cook has been out of the scene for a little bit as well, so to see him come back and well, not out of the scene, but like on a new roster here at Leipzig.
And to be fair, he was on a downhill. Like he was just going straight downhill. RLCS all the way out of the rival series. It was looking pretty rough for him when he was with Excel. And honestly, I thought it was a questionable roster move when they brought him in, because I think there was a lot of rumors going on that it might have been Magnus coming in, and then that didn't happen. So I didn't think it would actually pay off, but so far it has.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting tale there for Veloce, and looking at the fact that it's just kind of been a weird and slow and steady decline. And I was posing this to you a little bit earlier there, Achieves, and the fact that this team qualified over some of the biggest names that we have in Rocket League, and for them to have that kind of decay over time and then out of nowhere step up, how does this even happen?
Well, they have a team that has had really good players on it before. Like they had like Tigre and Flame, and Tigre and Flame were both fantastic. They had Tylacto, who was there to support them for a while. Tylacto's gone now. They got Niels Cook. They brought in Freaky after Tigre left. It's like, all right, there's some decent talent on this roster. There's no reason that they can't be a solid team. It's just right when it comes down to it, when it really matters, just for whatever reason, just downhill. And I don't know why. It's amazing.
And before we further this discussion any farther, just remember, you guys at home have the opportunity to vote if you would like to do so. All you got to do is use the appropriate hashtag. But continue here. I feel like it is an interesting situation to have that level of upset. And again, you know, going against an opponent that they have here today, I feel like there's a lot to prove. That wasn't a fluke, if you will.
And this is a big grudge match, too, because these two teams were in the rival series last season, and Savage came out on top, and that's why they're here. And back when they were Team Secret, they just fell apart right at the end, got 2 straight losses. They finished 5-2 and finished 3rd. So Veloce, they want that redemption story. And speaking about the rival series, Achieves, rival series signups for qualifiers right now. They're going on till what? February 23rd?
20-something.
Like I'm not sure the exact date, but sign up to try and qualify for the rival series, because anyone can make it. We see teams like Mindset. We expect to see them battling it out for a rival series spot. So definitely sign up.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to, you know, prove your own, because I feel like so many, as I said it before, they want to be that backdoor or back end kind of player and tell everybody, be like, I can do better than that. Be like, then prove it, boys. Here's a perfect chance to be able to make that happen. But we're going to waste no time here as we start to get into this matchup, taking a closer look here at Veloce Esports. And we've already talked a little bit about the roster between Flame, Freaky, and Niels Cook. But what else do you guys really look to? If there's going to be a player that stands out to shine here.
So the big one for me on Veloce is actually Freaky. Just because Freaky, I think, is one of the greatest support players for Flame. Flame is a very mechanical, very aggressive, will go and challenge anything. And when you have a player like Freaky who's got a lot of that experience from the RLCS, he knows how the game works and he knows what kind of player he's playing with. And Freaky's good at enabling people like that.
So my big surprise is Niels Cook, because he was such a talented player, like on an Excel team that didn't really have the support system around him, and then everything just went downhill. They pick up Markey, and it just seemed like the drive just wasn't there for this team. And Niels Cook, there was rumors going on that he wasn't getting a lot of practice in, but he's really stepped up. But Flame is one of those guys that I think me and Shogun always are like,
I like Flame too.
how is he not in the RLCS yet?
He's
like
great.
we thought for 2 seasons in a row someone would pick him up. He still hasn't been picked up yet, but maybe he doesn't need to. He can get in through this squad, and they look strong. They qualified to get here, and they weren't supposed to lose just yet, but now they're in 1 game away from going home on day 1 would be extremely disappointing for them.
It would be very, very disappointing there. But on the other side, we got to be keeping a closer eye on Savage. They have been, as we said, we already got a view out of them earlier today. It felt like they weren't able to keep up at the pace what we would expect. But knowing Veloce and you guys watching them in the past, is Veloce going to be fast enough that that's going to be a problem? Or aren't these guys, matched well enough that we can expect the speed to be everybody in their comfort zone? And it truly is, who is the better out of that?
That's actually, I think, tough to say because, again, it is a completely different dynamic with Niels Cook instead of Tylacto. I mean, Freaky and Flame do have to figure out what role Niels is going to actually play on that team. Will he continue to be that third guy and sit back and let them just go chase and do whatever they want together? Or is Niels going to try and get more involved in the offense? So are they going to be up to speed? Don't know. Will they be faster than Savage played earlier?
Yeah.
I hope so.
That was a big loss for Savage, where there was literally 0 team goals the entire time. So they did get a win off stream, so maybe that confidence is back, and maybe those team plays are starting to unfold. We'll see if they have any momentum coming into the series, but honestly, what we saw earlier was not pretty.
Yeah, and as a guy who's a bit newer here to the Rocket League scene, I'm going to go ahead and ask, how much is momentum a factor for these players? Because I think each esport has their own idea of what momentum means. So, as a guy who's been an ex-competitor and leading within that, how much is momentum going to matter here for Rocket League and these players?
So we've seen a lot at the World Championships where lower bracket teams make those runs. I think it's such a big deal for momentum to just have that confidence to be, I don't want to say happy, but morale high when you go into a series. It helps so much.
I think that's, to me personally, I think that's most of it in Rocket League. It's not so much you actually we're playing well. Everyone's just all right, we're winning. Cool, let's just keep winning. It's that's the idea of momentum, is everyone is happy.
Yeah. And when things feel good, for the squad, it feels like everything kind of lines up.
When you feel good, you do good.
In a game of such, tense moments and fraction of a second, feels like those things really very much can add up here. But I'm going to go ahead and pose it over to you guys here before we figure out what Chad had to say. Who do you think will take this series?
I think Veloce was a one-day wonder. I'm going to go Savage here. Even though they didn't look great earlier on, I think they can turn it around and fix their issues. It's a short time frame. It's about, 1 hour since we saw them, maybe an hour and a half. I think that they can fix their issues. I am going Savage here.
I forgot I had to pick a team, and I think I like Veloce. I don't know if I'd trust Savage after earlier, so I like Veloce.
I don't blame you.
I think that is very, very fair, and I think I'm still going to stick on the side of Savage. I do believe that one game is going to help them hopefully gain enough momentum here to be able to cover and really bring out the fight, but we'll find out. I think that this is one of our greatest benchmarks, at least of day number 1, to gauge some of these kind of middle-of-the-pack competitors and ones just rising to the top of, Rocket League scene.
It's even just, exciting to see, for Veloce, they really want to beat these RLCS teams because they feel like they should be there. So they want to make a run. They can easily make a run to day number 3. Both these teams can. It's just how do they survive day 1? I don't think seeds are that big of an issue. As long as you survive each day and then just try and get better on that day.
You mean as long as you win your games, you move on in the tournament?
But don't worry about your groups for tomorrow. Just worry about
beat your 5 minutes.
Each day.
Win this 5 minutes and then move on to the next
Score
one.
more goals than the other team.
There we go.
Simple as that.
That's it. You just got to score more than they do. Rocket League is as straightforward as that.
Easy game.
It's easy, boys. But we want to know if you think, if this game's going to be easy for either one of these teams competing. Let's find out what you had to say here. The results coming out 85 on the level of Savage. You could say that is a little savage.
That surprises me.
See, I think people don't realize that Veloce just picked up their org one day.
That is possible.
So maybe they're who is Veloce? I don't know who these guys are, but they just got picked up 2 days ago. So maybe people are a little confused about it.
Ex-secret guys.
Exactly.
Over to the Melon Squad, then over here into this. Many different names here for the roster, but they're definitely going to be a threatening group of individuals. Is there any last thoughts here before we get things underway that you want to see, not see, keep track of? We know pacing is going to be a problem, and again, some of the things we've highlighted, but Is there an overarching trend for either one of you?
Things we want to see: Alpha doing more, so more passing, more aggression, obviously, that we touched on earlier, that we expected to see. Out of Veloce, I want to see how well Freaky is able to set up Flame, because, again, I still think that is one of the strongest duos in everybody in the rival series scene.
See, the one player that I want to watch is Niels Cook, because I haven't seen him that much recently, and obviously he was on a downhill swing, but it looks like he's returning to form, and I just want to see him return to that Season 4 MVP-like player that he once was.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to watch, the original players that were the beast at one time really kind of revive themselves into original form. But we're going to go ahead and bring in our casting duo over this squad, and that is none other than Jorby and James Bott. Guys, do you share the same sentiment here at the desk? Do we think that Alpha is going to be able to step up here for Savage?
Well, Dredd, I personally think that Savage has the upper hand here as well. I think Alpha 54 is definitely a big part of that. But I think Bluey and Devo, they had a lot of issues on the outset for the first game or the first match of the day. They were whiffing hits and passes that they usually hit, and I think they got that figured out.
Yeah, and to me, Gibbs hit the nail on the head when he said there wasn't really, it was all just solo goals. In the only series we saw from Savage, it was only solo goals. We have to see everyone working together, but Savage has that individual talent, but also Niels, former MVP, like you had mentioned, there's a lot of talent on both of these squads, so it's a lot of it's going to come down to mentality, and I think in terms of mentality, I would put the check mark in favor of Veloce, actually, because we saw Savage. Who's the leader on that team? I mean, who do you think pulls you back into a positive mentality if things aren't going your way?
I just love that everybody's torn. It seems like nobody really knows what we're going to be able to see in the next series. And with that, you know what? Why wait any longer? Guys, kick it.
All right, thanks, Dreadnought. This series getting underway just shortly, and we've had sweeps today, we've had closer games, and we've had absolute stomps on stream and off stream. Leipzig day one has been a little bit of a mess, mostly expected results, but some fun mixed in.
I mean, this is just the beginning, right? We knew that this was going to be a gauntlet. These teams having to go through so much, not only to make it to day two, but also to day three. It's going to be a bloodbath. So this is just the beginning, and Savage, we saw them struggle early on. We haven't gotten a chance to see this Veloce, previously Team Secret squad, but, notable players on both sides. This is going to be a good match.
I feel like for Veloce, it really comes down to Flame, how Flame performs, right? I mean, he's always been the star of this ex-Secret team. Whatever combination it's been, Flame has been the goal scorer. So you feel like if Veloce do get it together, that.
But absolutely, but you can't forget about Niels. Niels was also a huge scorer, even back on Cow Nose. And now, previously Excel as well. He knows how to score. He knows how to hit these shots. He's going to have to do it if they want to get the win.
And game number one is underway. Niels Cook off the kickoff. Able to hit it around. Freaky back over to Flame. Niels Cook looking for Flame again. Flame on the challenge, lost to Alpha 54. Freaky rocking the nickname F-Dot, so if confused why I call him Freaky, it's Freaky. Niels Cook's shot saved by Alpha 54.
Yeah, that can be a little bit confusing. But Freaky, I don't think he cares too much.
Devo. Gonna keep that close to him in midfield. And Alpha 54, ball got away from him there. Couldn't keep it to him, but Bluey's there to at least knock it back to Flame. Not much action here in the first minute or so. And Flame gonna try to start again from his own third. Freaky back across midfield, looking for Niels Cook, no good.
Oh, and now Flame has no boost, and that boost was stolen in the corner. This could be rough for Savage, or for Veloce, rather.
Freaky blocked by Devo.
Double commit as well.
And still just kicking it back and forth. No one really breaking this. They break right here. Niels Cook could not put the shot on net. He had the opportunity, no goal.
And he still had 5 boosts left in the tank. You should have seen him use every little bit of that. He must have thought he was going to get it. Man, that was about as close as you can get.
And Freaky's shot turned away by Devo. Devo back over to Bluey. Savage hunting for that goal. No good there. Blocked again. And Veloce with Flame. Freaky trying to force it in. Niels Cook comes in. Lost the challenge to Devo.
And he's lost a couple challenges now, just a little slow to the ball. You gotta wonder if it's nerves or something else. And now that pinch right back at the net.
Devo getting that goal just over 2 minutes into the game. Savage on the board first and an open net, no less.
And that's gotta be devastating for Veloce. They had that opportunity, but they came up short, weren't able to connect with the shot. And now Savage getting right back on the board.
And Savage off the kickoff, Alpha 54, gonna head up for it himself. Expected Freaky to touch the ball there, but...
And even here, Flame had a lot of time to control that ball, and he just didn't. Last possession.
Devo looking for Bluey downfield, but again, Veloce trying to clear that out off the crossbar, bouncing away. Niels Cook back to Freaky. Veloce keep the score only 1-0 for now, but they're having a tough time getting it out of the blue half. And Devo just trying to tee that down for somebody to go for it, but Freaky ended up getting a free chance at the ball. Not much happened with it otherwise. Bluey back over to Devo. Devo one-on-one against Freaky, a good challenge, and he picks up the rebound off the side wall.
And rewinding back a bit, you know, Devo putting that ball down for somebody, no one there. If you remember back to the last time we saw Savage on stream, it seemed like they were having a lot of communication issues. So we'll see if that continues to plague them. That right there seemed like one as well.
Alpha shot is in, and Savage get the second goal. Minute 48 in game 1.
And we also were criticizing them about not having team plays. This time, Bluey able to center that out for Alpha. And you know, if you're on the wall right there, if you're Niels trying to get that ball up, you regret that hit.
And so it looks like maybe a player issue, and player's gonna wait to see what exactly is going on there. We'll resume play as soon as we figure out what's going on, but Savage getting this 2-goal lead here against Veloce.
What is wrong with you, Jorby? You're just a curse on the game right now.
Yeah, every game, is it my fault? Hey, you're just as much of the problem as I am.
I was trying to deflect, okay?
Yeah, okay, that's fair, but we all know who the real problem is on this desk.
But getting back on to the last goal that was scored, you know, it was a little bit of a missed touch, I would say, by Niels up on the wall. But it was also a very good play by Bluey getting it out into the middle, Alpha finishing it off. We didn't see a lot of team play from Savage whatsoever. So this is moving in the right direction for Savage. I wouldn't say they're playing perfect now. We saw moments where they struggled, especially Devo putting that ball down in the middle when there was both players out of position, not able to make the hit. They easily could have gotten scored on right there, but it just doesn't seem like Veloce is bringing much to the table in terms of offense. We saw that open shot that Niels was able to potentially make, but he used up all his boost but 5 and still wasn't able to connect on the ball. So you've got to think back to that moment, and that really was a turning point in the game for me.
And that wasn't even the only time that the net was in questionable status for Veloce. There were a couple of times where, you know, spreading out wide, moving up the field, and everyone's on the attacking third laterally, and it's so hard to be able to come back, especially when Savage, all they have to do is boom the ball down the field, and they've forced a couple of one-on-one situations that have gone in their favor. So they just have to be able to, you know, for lack of a better phrase, fear the clear more against this Savage team, because Savage has been able to defend everything Veloce has thrown at them. They haven't really been able to have any consistent pressure against them.
Yeah, and not only that, but also the fact that the Savage players are just so individually skilled that you can never, even if it's just Devo on the attack, you can't take that for granted. Devo has the ability to make the solo plays. Bluey can as well, and also Alpha. We've seen great dribble plays out of him. So everyone on Savage, just such a threat. And it really has put Veloce on their back foot, having to struggle to keep the ball out of the net. But still a minute and a half left in the game or so, almost 2 minutes. So it's plenty of time left on the clock for Veloce to get back into this game, but they'll need to score pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's difficult to do in this kind of situation. You're in day number 1. No one wants to go home day 1. And so nerves are absolutely a factor when you're on stage here, knowing that this series is it. You have to win this series. And so that plays into your mindset so hard on stage. Everyone's watching. The lights are shining. It's so difficult, especially with pauses that might happen during the game. It just kind of, you're just sitting there and it stews. So it has to play on a team like Veloce or like Savage, and we've talked about it before. maybe no true leader being on Savage. That also has to play a fact, but they've obviously scored the 2 goals here in game 1 against
Yeah, I mean,
Veloce.
when you're winning, it's not going to be as much of an issue. It's mostly when you fall behind or things don't go your way, or maybe something unlucky happens with a pinch that sends it all the way across the field and you get scored on or something like that. But, you know, Savage, when they are playing confident, it's very tough to stop them. They have those young players, Devo, Bluey, both who expect to win, expect to have success, and then Alpha, who's a newer player as well, very young. So these guys, they know how to play. They've come out swinging. They've got the lead, so it's going to be comfortable for them right now. But Veloce, on the other hand, they looked a little shaky out of the gate, but it's still very early in game 1. And a lot of times, you know, you have that feeler game, at least in the first game, and then you start seeing adjustments come out afterwards.
And so Veloce, they will try to get back into things. And I mean, this Veloce team, all of these guys are RLCS veterans. And all of them have that experience playing against guys like Bluey, like Devo. They know how to handle themselves. It's just trying to make it work, this combination of players trying to make it work with Niels Cook. Because Flame and Freaky have played together a good bit. Niels Cook is the new incarnation of this squad.
Yeah, he's the new addition, and he's a name that we've seen before quite a bit. Again, you know, I mentioned his tenure in RLCS, Kaunos, Excel. He's been playing, or he has played in the past at a high level. They were relegated down to the rival series. They struggled in the rival series, but he has experience. And, you know, he was a good shooter, was a good offensive player. So we'll see if he can step back up. But they're playing against an RLCS caliber team in Savage.
And a minute 45 is where we will restart the timer. We'll see if Veloce can get a goal on the board and start to come back here in game 1. Flame back over to Freaky, challenged and knocked away by Devo. Niels gave way for Alpha. Well defended on the back wall. Freaky continues to move the ball back to the orange half. Niels from midfield, staying with it, flicks it by Devo and challenged by Bluey. He picks up the save.
Oh, that bump on Flame.
And a great bump indeed. Alpha 54 picks up the easy goal, 3-0 for Savage.
Yeah, and look at this double commit there. Freaky jumping, and then Flame getting bumped out of the way by Devo. Then Devo finishes him off just to be extra nasty, leaving the net wide open for Alpha.
Savage. A minute 9 left to go, and again, that 3-goal mark, it's a tough one to come back for any team.
And that happens so much, Jorby. One of the dangers about passing that ball across the middle, you put your teammate in a situation where if you don't get the ball to them and allow them to hit it first, you're overextended and it's a numbers advantage for the other team. And that's exactly what we saw happen, or what we saw happen for Savage. Freaky and Niels overcommitted, and then it was only Flame left back, and he just got taken out by Devo. It was the easy goal for Savage.
You know, Freaky back over to, oh, what a save by Alpha 54. Niels Cook couldn't put it high enough. It was a laser, but keeping the door shut are Savage. James, earlier today, we did talk about how, you know, just getting a goal right here for Veloce, even if you don't win it, can mean a lot going into the next game, but not being able to score a single goal. In fact, Savage just keeps scoring with 16 seconds left. It's tough.
It absolutely is tough, and you know, you want to get on the board and not feel like you have a negative mentality going into the next game. Devo just absolutely dunking on Freaky there. This could very easily get out of hand for Veloce if they don't start getting back into this one. Even a goal here would help with that mentality.
And Freaky keeping this ball with himself. Back over to Flame, cleared away again by Alpha, and that will do it. As soon as the ball touches the ground, we'll be moving on to game 2. Savage picking up the first game.
Yeah, crushing them 4-0. Savage getting the W here. Some passing plays from them. You know, it wasn't stellar Rocket League, but it was just, you know, a good job from them. Good, solid play, but I thought Veloce made quite a few mistakes on defense. And also we had that short pause that didn't really help them out either. So, you know, maybe it was an opportunity to gather themselves, but no, it didn't really work out that way. Just a struggle of a game for Veloce.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like Savage was really tested much, especially on the defensive end of the field. I mean, want to force the defense to be able to make mistakes, and Savage were let free to just play mistake-free Rocket League. Like you said, it wasn't the most insane Rocket League we've ever seen. It was pretty mellow as far as a game goes, and they have to be able. Veloce has to be able to pick up the pace against Savage. We saw how Savage reacts when a team gets in their face and they play quickly. They play just attack. They get a little messy on the defensive end. So Veloce have to find a way to get control of midfield and find a way to just keep pressuring and find those attacking third challenges against Savage.
Yeah, and if you're going to go for those infield passes, you really have to be conscious about putting it infield enough for your teammate to at least get the first hit or get a piece of it on the challenge. We saw one of the goals. It was a play by Niels who tried to get it over to Freaky, but maybe it was a shot. Freaky went for it anyway, and then a quick counterattack. Things were just not going very well for Veloce.
You know, Veloce, you got a few buffer games to work things out. Game number 2 underway. And up high there, down in, Flame picks up the first goal of the series for Veloce.
After getting shut out all of the 5 minutes from game number 1, a response from Flame, and Freaky had that challenge to get it up off the backboard for Flame. An excellent execution. Just 6 seconds in, that is what they needed.
And so off the kickoff, Savage now gonna have to give way for Bluey. Bluey staying with it. And Devo looking for Alpha 54. He's got his man there, but it is easily defended away by Niels Cook. Flame trying to get back to this ball. Chaos in front of this. It's basically a scrum in midfield. Who's going to come out with the ball? Freaky does. Back over to Flame. Flame playing it under. Tries to get it in front of the box, and he does, but no one able to finish for Veloce. Savage keep it 1-0.
Yeah, if he had any boost to work with, we might have seen that pan out differently. But still, excellent effort from him. Trying to make that play, forcing the ball into the middle, giving Veloce a chance.
Double commit by Savage, allowing Flame gets a free look at it. I think he tried to tee it back over to Freaky. Niels Cook, light shot, blocked by Alpha 54. Devo couldn't get it away from Flame off the backboard. Freaky puts it against the backboard as well. It's one you feel like Freaky has to be able to score. You don't get a lot of free looks off the backboard.
Yeah, those backboard hits, you need to clean those up. And also, questionable attempt by Flame to even chase that ball down. He probably should have just rotated out.
And hit up high by Devo. Freaky staying with it back to the opposite corner. And now Freaky trying to do what he can to push up with no boost. He wins 2 challenges with 0 boost. But still, Savage getting a little scrambly on defense. See, all of them want to go for that ball whenever it seems to be thrown across the box. You got to be careful.
Again, it's those communications issues that we talked about, Jorby. It seems like Savage rely a lot on speed and individual skill. Comms, not the cleanest, and now a chance for them. They put one in, they tie it up. Devo knocking this one by.
Yeah, Bluey starts this off. I mean, he gets a free look off the backboard there. All he has to do is make a touch, and only one man has to wrap around and try to make a defensive touch. He can't get there in time. It's an easy goal for Savage with 3 minutes left, and you take the freebies when they're given to you.
Absolutely. That ball needed to get stopped before it bounced off the backboard to Bluey. And now another chance.
Ooh, off the crossbar. Savage starting to pick up the pace here against Veloce. Niels Cook over with Flame, both of them trying to send it across the backboard. Savage thwarted again. Alpha 54 looking, cannot find his mate.
That is the right idea, though, looking for those center balls. They're so dangerous. When you have a teammate waiting in the midfield and a fast pass like that, you can shoot it so hard. As long as your placement is good, it makes it almost unblockable.
Niels couldn't get up to that. Freaky with Niels Cook now, get it back to at least midfield. Devo almost getting by Freaky there on the play. Freaky picking up the save. Alpha 54 has a go at it, blocked by Niels Cook. Devo now in midfield. Not the best touch, but nobody available there from Veloce to follow up on the touch.
Yeah, Flame was waiting on the back boost. It still never came up for him. He had to challenge that one early.
And now Bluey gonna take a shot. Freaky makes the save. Devo hunting for it. Demo 2-1. Savage with the lead.
And we've seen Devo before with that bump and Demo play last game. This time, a Demo coming out from Bluey right on Freaky. Freaky never even saw it coming. And that paved the way for Devo to get the go-ahead.
A minute 45 left. They take the lead. Minute 46 seconds. Whatever. Freaky.
Whatever.
Off the corner, that off the back wall. Niels Cook gets a shot in, and they tie the game up quickly.
And it was a kickoff goal to start out the game in favor of Veloce. Now a kickoff goal yet again to tie it up. This one just a dunk from Niels, getting to that ball quickly. You know, had the challenging player from Savage been a little bit more behind the ball, I don't think that would have happened, but it was just a good, solid challenge from Niels going their way. And now another
That's
open
free.
net.
That is in. Savage open net 3-2. Veloce, what happened?
I mean, Flames just completely whiffed on the challenge. 100% he needed to get a touch on that ball.
Got to touch the ball.
That is one big rule of Rocket League. If you want to do well, most of the time you got to touch it.
Just hit it. Veloce down 1 goal again. We've had 3 goals scored in the last 25 seconds, 30 seconds. Veloce have to fight again to tie the game back up. Around the corner, Devo trying to force his way along the back wall. Bluey coming in, trying to force Flame out. He does. Now he still has the ball against the back wall, defended by Niels Cook. Hit up. Freaky has it again. Niels Cook by 1 attacker. Flame has to get there. He can't. Too slow. Alpha 54 keeping it alive for Savage. Bluey in the corner. No good for him. Alpha 54. The shot is blocked by Bluey. Or not Bluey, excuse me. Flame. Getting my teams mixed up for a second. Bluey trying again. Gets the dunk, but it's wide right. Veloce struggling on the defensive end here to get it out. And Flame back down over Bluey. It's going to reset here for Savage.
But I love plays like that. You have a player on the backboard waiting for an opportunity to either pass it right back out in the middle for a shot, or you can just keep possession like what they did there with Bluey.
That one just high, knocked away regardless. And a great ball there by Alpha 54. Bluey gonna keep it in play. Savage dominant as far as pitch control is concerned. I feel like Veloce are getting 1 touch for every 3 that Savage are getting. You see Bluey again, just covering midfield, giving himself space. Almost feels like he's baiting Niels Cook up there on that play. With almost no time left, Savage still in the blue half of the field. They got to go the length in the air. They can't do it. And Savage are up 2-0 in the series.
And nice little touch from Devo to end that game there as well. You can never take those 0-second moments for granted. So Devo getting that second touch, 2 goals and an assist for him. A solid game from Devo. And we saw a lot of kickoff goals in this game, Jorby, and that was the difference.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Veloce, you can't rely on those kickoff goals to win you the game. You gotta find a way to generate more opportunities, and it's got to start with at least winning the boosts on your own corners, right? I mean, Savage weren't giving them any room even in their own corners.
Yeah, and this, again, great aggression as well from Savage. We've seen them utilize the bumps, utilize the demo. That was a big goal for them. But then the kickoff goals, this one from Freaky getting the ball up to Flame, I believe was the player. No, Niels.
It was Niels
here.
Yeah.
And Niels just getting the dunk. That was this equalizing goal. But then just seconds later off kickoff, Flame missed his challenge. And then Freaky tried to get back, Bluey getting in the way, and the ball just bounces in, and that was it. That was the difference.
And it feels like, especially on the defensive end, there was a couple of plays, one near the end there specifically that I remember, where Freaky got the touch in his own corner, and then Flame had to follow it up. Flame hesitated, and he wasn't sure if he should have went for the ball or not, allowed Alpha 54 to challenge again and keep the ball in play for Savage. So it's just about being able to make those challenges for Veloce, and this is it now. You have to win every game if you're Veloce and you want to survive to day number 2. Savage just looking to clean things up right here with a 3-0 sweep. Devo up high against his home backboard. And Niels, nothing good for his team there.
And even Bluey jumping up for that one as well a little bit. So we still see a little bit of mistrust and communication hiccups on Savage, but Veloce hasn't made him pay for it yet.
Bluey back over to Devo. Devo staying with it. Bluey just looks antsy to go for the ball there. He jumped a couple of times like, come on. But still threatening. The shot in from Flame off the pass. And it's 1-0 Veloce.
Yeah, I think Bluey was just struggling with low boost there, not able to make the challenge. And now Flame coming in, a defender net. He shot it pretty close to the defender, but just powered it through.
So Veloce do get the first goal. They got the first goal in game number 2 as well. And Alpha back over to Devo. Flame waiting in midfield. Trying to find his way back over to a teammate, but instead Savage pick it up. Devo straight back, the shot just off the post. Alpha tries to follow it up too high off the backboard. And Flame punches it to the corner. Veloce, long booming clear, trying to give themselves some room. We'll see if they can start from midfield, but Alpha's going to take control of the ball.
And even there, that touch by Freaky, it might have been better if he had just left that and let it go all the way down into their corner so they could take over possession. An interesting attempt there from Niels as well, but still, Veloce not really playing a great possession game so far. We've seen Savage do a good job of that. No whiff. Yeah, what? Scratching your head right there,
What?
Jordy.
I mean, how many times do you actually see this level of a whiff? I mean, that's an easy clear.
He probably, there was a player that was going for it on Savage. I didn't catch the name tag, but perhaps that player thought, or perhaps the defender thought he was going to get a touch there, maybe go for a doink or something, but
Just thought he was a little closer than he actually
it
was. Yeah. I mean, that's just not something you see a lot at this level. The struggles for Veloce. Well, it gave Savage a goal, tied it up. Devo is that one up high. It's a double commit by Veloce. Bluey under that ball. Freaky gets the clear. But still, Savage have just done a great job of covering the options. They've covered most booming clears. They've even covered the short clears. Veloce giving Savage just a little too much space overall.
and that was an opportunity there for Freaky to knock one in. There was no one left to defend the net, and he put the shot wide.
Flame, good challenge, a second touch off the backboard, defended by Alpha. Devo tries to get there and makes the save off of Niels Cook's shot. Freaky tries to keep it in play, no good. Bluey has the clear.
Nothing in the tank for Devo. And that one, he just got enough of it to knock it off the crossbar. And now it's danger time for Veloce as they try to keep this one out.
Alpha sticking with this himself, knocked to the corner by Niels. Devo, again, another high ball. Alpha couldn't get back to it. Bluey back over to Alpha. It's just a game, feels like a game of patty cake right now. We're just hitting the ball back and forth to each other. Nothing has really developed for either team. Bluey couldn't get back to it, beaten by Flame.
More aggression coming out from Savage. They have been the ones making the demos happen. Now a chance. Devo has to get the hit, and he missed it. And Flame, he just respected Devo too much, and he misread it.
Biggest chance for Veloce to tie this game, or not tie, to get the lead in this game. You missed the first touch, and then you hit the crossbar on the second one, which was basically a free opportunity for Veloce. No good. A minute 15 left. We're still tied up. No one's just been able to finish, and the opportunities have been there.
Yeah, he most certainly thought Devo was going to get a piece of it, but if you're using the boost to go for it, you got to just zone out that defender. You got to ignore, imagine he's not even there and go for it just in case they miss it. Because Devo missed his hit, and Veloce still came away empty-handed.
Flame tries to start things off for Veloce, but again, knocked away. Bluey can only get it over. Hit away to the corner by the Veloce defense. Freaky, a long clear. Devo just allows it to fall to him. Flame trying to keep it alive. Niels Cook was on the wing, but again, it's cleared by Savage. 30 seconds left in regulation in game number 3. Niels giving way for Flame now. Savage starting with Alpha off the backboard. Defended by Freaky, a booming clear. Devo, the only man back. Niels Cook gets the dunk, and a quick follow-up from Freaky off the back wall. Niels tries to get back to it. The shot off the post. It bounces out Veloce Esports. The ball's still in the air here, bounces off the ramp, looking for the shot. We got overtime.
Oh my, that looked to be it. Niels was so close. He had that fantastic dunk to put Freaky in a position to get that ball out to him again and almost hits that shot. It's been a rough series and a rough game for Veloce.
Freaky high against the backboard, looking for a second touch.
Double commit.
Offensive double commit by Veloce. Going the other way for Savage, but a good touch in midfield to buy Veloce some time to reset. Niels Cook looking for an opening. He doesn't have one. Freaky back against the backboard. No one gets the touch. Freaky challenged by Alpha. Flame, he's going to have a go at it, and Alpha knocks it away again. Almost gets the touch against Freaky. Bluey a little too high, and Devo having to come back around, cleared away.
And that was a great series of defensive plays from Alpha.
Good touch by Flame as well from the corner. Flame able to move it downfield again. It feels like we've sped up a little bit in overtime, James. Both of these teams had enough of it, just want to force this goal without forcing a mistake. Alpha effectively winning the challenge there, but Freaky's gonna get the look on the ball. Flame, a great touch. Freaky's got the net. Blow away by Alpha.
Alpha, he read that shot. He knew he needed to get back. And from the player cam perspective, you didn't even see him on the screen, just zooming in just in time. Fantastic defense from Alpha continues.
Teed up high for Bluey. Alpha couldn't get there. Devo on the back end. Savage. There's Bluey. Bluey's shot is right into Freaky's, right into his bumper. Alpha keeping the play alive against the back wall. Freaky able to get the challenge, and Veloce stint the assault again.
And it can't be understated how tough those reads are. Now a chance for Bluey.
That shot gonna roll the bump on Freaky. He can't get there. Alpha picks up the goal, picks up the series win for Savage. They move on to day 2.
Yeah, and you can see Bluey lands and immediately goes for the bump on Freaky. It didn't even matter. Freaky couldn't have made the save. Alpha making the defensive plays and then finishing it off in overtime. Savage making it happen.
You saw them jump up, the hugs all around for Savage, that relief that you are done and you stay. For Leipzig, you move on to day 2. It's got to feel great. Veloce, it felt like they finally got it figured out by the end of game 3.
I don't know about that,
It felt too late. I mean, as far as pace of play goes, they were actually they're putting plays together, passing it, good challenges in the attacking third that generated a couple of opportunities for them.
The pace and everything was fine, but their finishing was just not. They had so many opportunities to put in a goal, and they didn't. And then they had some pretty bad defensive plays as well. I thought there wasn't really a moment where I was impressed by Veloce. I mean, even Savage, I was not blown away with their play.
This just wasn't an impressive series.
But yeah, it was a battle. It was a battle.
I think that for Savage, there's still a lot of room to improve to day 2 because it doesn't get any easier from here for Savage. I mean, they have to be able to figure this out because the teams are only going to get tougher.
Yeah.
And we saw some of our Titans play today. We saw Cloud9 play earlier today. They're just fine. So if Savage want a chance at this tournament, they really got to find a way to start clicking as a team.
Absolutely. I mean, they fell to Rogue earlier, and Rogue, they're not even making it to day 2. So like you said, Jorby, the competition's only getting better from this point.
Yeah, and again, it was GG's to Veloce. They put together a valiant effort in game 3 there against Savage, and a couple of really solid opportunities. But Dread Gibbs achieves thoughts on the series, and Savage, they win.
I think the only thing that's savage is you at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he was
not
throwing
impressive.
down, my goodness.
Awful.
That was the worst series in Rocket League history.
Hey, Savage looked much better than what they showed earlier, but when you're playing an RLCS team, you can't have like 3 giant mistakes all in the same game and expect to beat them. And Veloce, they had a chance in that game 3. They had the scoring chances. They had just weird
difference
defensive
maker-
blunders that wide open just whiff. It's just-
That's the difference maker in that game 3 as well. Like if that ball doesn't go in the net, they went to overtime anyway, but they would have won if they didn't allow that goal. So it's like, hello, hit the ball.
I feel like that series was like, because we often say you got to get those, right? At this level of play, I felt like there were those moments went from not so much you got to get those to you hate to see it, right?
Yeah,
and when there's a difference between that, that's a difference of like whose responsibility to make that play was, but they ended up cleaning it up and eventually get it together. And shout out to Alpha, man. The defensive plays, especially in the OT there in the very end,
was
it was
big.
insane.
It was good stuff. But overall, a much improved series, as you said, Gibbs, from the start of the day for sure.
And teamwork goals. They actually had some. Games 1 and 2.
assists.
I loved it. They passed and then they went for demos and they were connected on those demos. So, like, it's a much improved Savage from what we saw earlier.
They did the thing.
They did the thing. They used their teammates, which is always a big plus.
They were able to recover, and with us here, we're going to have Bluey joining up at the desk, and I've got to go ahead and ask what happened within the series to be able to get some of that recovery, because they felt like you guys really found yourself as things went on.
Yeah, I agree. We just, as soon as the longer we started playing, it's just, we found ourselves, we got more confident, that our comms were very efficient, and we just felt amazing. Just playing against an EU team that we've been playing for a long time, it feels great.
Really
to get this win.
comfortable?
Yeah, very comfortable.
That's awesome. Great to hear.
So how was that morale coming off that rogue loss where you guys just didn't look good at all? Like, how did you guys pick it back up for the lower bracket run?
As being the captain, I've got to keep the positives, the vibes positive, like all the time. So it's really hard for me. But after that loss, we knew we still had another chance, and I knew that, and we knew that as a team, and we knew we were going to smash everyone else. Like coming into this game, we were very prepared. We've played them a lot, so vibes positive, and we played well, and I think ready for day 2.
Well, so obviously then speaking, of course, of day 2, I mean, you say you're very comfortable playing this team you've played all the time. Any apprehension about tomorrow where you play a bunch of teams you haven't played before?
Looking at day 2 tomorrow is going to be very scary because, we've had quite the scare today. But, yeah, we're going to go in tomorrow very confident, and I'm going to get my boys ready.
Good.
Yeah, it is add to those special vibes, build everybody up, getting ready for day number 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it, man. I love the team morale focus there coming out from you. Before we go to a commercial break, I first want to say thank you to the sponsors that, in fact, make DreamHack Leipzig for Rocket League here a thing. Thank you to DreamHack, Psyonix, Monster, and esportsmanagement.com. We're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, more Rocket League action. Don't touch that browser.